Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day, hump day, hump day.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's edition, or bi-weekly edition I should say, of Into the Light with Jay and Franz. Welcome back, Franz.
Hey, well, thank you for having me back. It's good to be here.
Always a pleasure having you on, man, always.
It's been another hectic 2 weeks. Almost thinking winter is almost over, but comes back and hits hard again. So
Yeah, harp has a way, weather has a way of doing that.
did I tell you about the green and blue lightning?
No.
Now, during the storm, we were out shoveling probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock, trying to keep up with it. But now it did resemble a transformer, and that's what a lot of people were saying. It was multiple transformers. I've been directly under transformers when they've blown, and there is a bluish green light up the sky flash, but there was green blue lightning that wasn't. Yeah, it's plausible that it was, but people saw it from all around my area, and it was lighting up the sky, not like into the sky, from the sky. Like you could see clouds dart around it. It was something more than just electricity or natural.
Well, I've heard in a few of the prophecies by some of God's true people, true prophets, that coming into the end times, like we're going to see a lot of different colors in the skies, and also the auroras are going to be visible all over the earth.
I've saw them faintly once this winter, which I have before in the past growing up in this area. But there was something more to it. It was a lot bigger than just transformers lighting up into the sky. But
yeah, and if a bunch of people in your area were seeing it, then
it wasn't. It would have been. They would have seen small flashes, but everybody was reporting the same thing, but then still saying, "Yeah, it was transformers, one after another."
It's probably what was on social media, right?
It was, absolutely.
It was Transformer.
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's completely plausible because it does, and I can see that. But I was out there, and my wife and I both immediately said, we feel different. Like right after it happened 3 times, and the first time I saw it, but I wasn't looking up, and I was like, wow, was that lightning? And then when I happened to look up, you see it, and you could see it just outline the clouds below it, like it came from the sky. But then I yelled to my wife, I'm like, you see that? She's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, it just lit up the whole sky, blue and green. It's like crazy lightning. What was that? And then right when she looked up, it happened again, and it was brighter. And wasn't even 2 minutes because we were just finishing up shoveling off the cars, and we were walking back inside right after it happened. And I'm like, my hairs were standing up. I felt like I'm not one for anxiety. I don't, whatever, maybe a little caffeine shakes, but I felt like I had anxiety. I felt my heart rate went up, and I just felt like an electrical surge just went through me. As soon as I said that, she's like, yeah, I feel weird too. Like it is an anxiety. Yeah. But you mentioned the harp. I saw an article. It reminded me I saw an article here. Let me try to start sharing. Yeah, I actually got right to it. Okay, we're up, right?
Yeah, this is usually what it does right before you put a page on.
And it starts
It's on like the
doing
infinite window.
multiple things.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Maybe I can just search.
One time I was like, you know what you can do? Is if you got a screencast, you turn your screencast onto your TV, and then you put your phone on the camera, you know, and then you get in between them, and it just goes. It's like an infinite mirror forever. It's crazy. I was messing around with it with my daughter one time, like trying to do these motions and just watching it go pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes it will do that. I found an article this past week. I'm trying to get it right here. They're coming up with a solution for the Colorado River drying up. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a great solution.
So cloud seeding, yeah. So this is their version, you know. This them, mainstreaming it. I don't know, but this is geoengineering. There's a Southwestern Nevada Authority Thursday voted to accept a $2.4 million grant from the United States Bureau of Reclamation to fund cloud seeding in other western states whose rivers feed the parched desert region. So they're going to create rain to supply the water supply in Colorado. I don't know if you know, Colorado River supplies Los Angeles. So they just popped that up to show geoengineering is real, and they do it a lot.
Yeah, that's
but
people try to tell you that it's not real, but it totally is.
They obviously have an agency in the government that can fund you millions of dollars. So,
right, that's weather control. People don't make the connection though. It's like,
no, I know, and that's
crazy. They're just gonna make it rain, and they're gonna do something with clouds and just making the atmosphere, and it's like, yeah, it's called weather control. Yeah,
weather control.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and they've been doing it for decades. And what they're doing is, it's like a metal particle, ionized aluminum.
Yeah, it's barium and aluminum.
Barium and aluminum.
You know what that? Yeah, because barium, right, on the elements chart is Ba, and aluminum is Al, and together it's Bale.
Bale.
Right?
Absolutely. Introduction.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss him. I've been promising or threatening I'm going to talk to Dan again. And that's pretty much what I plan on doing today. And
well, that's all right. I'll share that stuff that I shared with you too when you get there.
You want to? I wasn't going to because I wasn't sure, but that played right into what I had, where I wanted to go. But either way, so Dan is the one who started a lot of the Baal. He started the temples for Baal, but there's also others that go along with it. But we remember Dan is the son of Israel, Jacob. His mother was Israel or Jacob's concubine. And in this, it talks about Daniel's training in Babylon. And I wanted to point out where Daniel got another name. So we'll figure out what that name is. We'll learn what that name is, and then get into what the other name he was given. So I'll just read quick through these 7. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar.
That is Nebuchadnezzar?
Yeah.
All right.
There's Nebuchadnezzar and there's Nebuchadrezzar. Yeah.
All right. So we're getting into this. So Nebuchadnezzar.
I just
king
want
of
you to
Babylon-
know, though, this is Daniel. This isn't Dan.
All right.
Different. Wait, this is the prophet Daniel.
All right. So, but
But go on. I just wanted to point that out to you. That's all.
all right.
Did I throw you off? Sorry.
Yeah, you did. Sorry, no, it's all right. It's all right. Because now I'm thinking, I'm trying to read. You know, I haven't. Maybe they'll appear. You know, I can't prove they're all connected, but I just feel like there are a lot of stories and wars and this king, and that kingdom, false flags. You know, that's nothing new, and I think it's in the Bible.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the kings and stuff, yeah, I was just pointing out that Daniel has nothing to do with Dan. That's all. But the kings and stuff, they very well could have. I haven't really done any lineage on Nebuchadnezzar and stuff like that.
I haven't done a lot either. So I mean, this was basically. No, I guess I didn't put that fact together. But
Well, let her rip, man. Let's hear her.
all right. So here we are. We're talking about Nebuchadnezzar. He came to Babylon, or he's from Babylon, king of Babylon, and came to Jerusalem to besiege it. And the Lord delivered Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, along with some of the articles from the temple of God. These he carried off to the temple of his God in Babylonia and put in the treasurer's house of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, chief of his court officials, to bring the king's service some of the Israelites from the royal family and the nobility. Young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, qualified to serve the king's palace. He was to teach them the language and literature of the Babylonians. The king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from the king's table. They were to be trained for 3 years, and after they were to enter the king's service. Among those who were chosen were some of Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief official gave them new names. To Daniel, the name Belshazzar.
Belshazzar. Yeah.
To Hananiah, Shadrach.
Yeah.
To Mishael,
Meshach.
and Azariah,
Abednego. That's why I was here. Remember the old Beastie Boys track? Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So this is where we're gonna go to look up Belshazzar. The meaning. Daniel means God is my judge.
Yeah.
Belshazzar means lady protect the king.
Really? That's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Right.
I wonder why he named him that.
He gave him a girl's name, and it means lady protect the king.
Yeah, that's kind of a strange name to give Daniel, I think. I've never actually looked that up, so good call there.
Well, so now I looked him up even more. He's the Babylonian cuneiform, meaning Bel, protect the king.
Oh, Bel. Like Bel and the Dragon. That's one of the books that was removed from the Bible. Okay. Yeah, you know Beauty and the Beast?
Yep.
Belle?
Yep.
The girl?
Yep.
Okay. Now it makes more sense. Like the lady thing that didn't get, but this makes sense to me. But still, I don't know why they would call Daniel that, but that's all right.
I don't know either. It comes up a few other times. So, saying he was the last king of Neo-Babylon Empire. Through his mother, he might have been the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. All right, so I wanted to look him up. I had him up here. All right, second king of the Neo-Babylon Empire. And he was in a campaign against the Assyrians, brought to the state of maximum power. So this goes on to talk about how they fought the Egyptians at the battle of Carchemish. Carchemish. It's a place.
Yeah.
And I lost my place. All right, so the Pharaoh of Egypt, his name Necho, Babylonian. I'm going to go back. Because I had the...
Yeah, click that. Why did Nebuchadnezzar change his name to Belshazzar? I'm just curious to see what they have to say. See what their answer is.
All right, so Nebuchadnezzar was king of Babylonia from 605 BC to around 563 BC. This was the page. This wasn't the page I looked up. He changed Daniel's name to Belshazzar, King say it again for me.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Remember the Matrix?
Yeah.
Remember the ship they were on? The Nebuchadnezzar?
I try to pronounce it different. I can't force myself to stop doing it. Nebuchadnezzar had conquered Judah, destroying Jerusalem 586. He had been prophesied by the prophet Jeremiah. Some of the inhabitants of Judah were taken back to Babylonian as captives, including a number of children of royal and noble families, to be integrated into the Babylonian society. Among those were 4 boys around the age of 14 at the time, named Daniel, Hananiah,
Yeah.
Mishael, and Azariah.
Yeah.
All of these Hebrew names had meanings connected to the faith in God, but upon arrival in Babylonia, the names were changed. The official chief of Babylonia gave the name to Daniel Belshazzar. I went to that. The boys' names were changed as a way of encouraging them to forget the God and traditions of their homeland and become conformed to the ways of gods of Babylon. It was a forced assimilation. King wanted Daniel and his friends to conform to the pattern of his worlds, and name change was one step towards the goal.
Okay. I get that. Yeah.
So it was, you work for us.
Yeah, trying to get him to leave his faith and come into paganism.
Right.
Makes sense. Well, for them it did.
Well, and the Baal was the pagan god to them.
Yeah. Yeah, they were big into Baal worship.
There's even a temple, not Daniel, but Dan. Dan in Hebrew is an ancient city mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, described as northernmost city in Kingdom of Israel. But they literally built an altar with the bull and the calf.
Yeah.
And
they love calf worship.
Because basically they were doing the same thing, what we just read about Daniel. Convince the people or the peoples and the tribes that they were infiltrating or mixing with and getting them to move away from Jerusalem. So the people kept longing for their their temple or whatever was the worshiping in Jerusalem. So the story is that the tribe of Dan built this altar and to worship Baal. It's believed to be one of the first.
I can't believe people worship calves. Like, that blows my mind. Like, even the Israelites do when God let them out of Egypt. Like, when Moses was up on Mount Sinai for like 40 days getting the 10 Commandments and stuff, they're down there, like, making images of calves and worshiping the thing. And it's like, dude, you just met your God. You know him. You're watching him be a pillar of fire at night and leading you as a cloud during the day. And you're hearing him speak to Moses. It's like, you know your God. Yet now, because Moses dipped out for a little bit, you're going to start worshiping a cow? Like, what the heck, man?
Yeah, well, Baal is who they were worshiping. They wanted their deity. But there was, what's her name? I think the wife of Baal, Asherah. Asherah, along with Astarte and Anath. We've talked about this goddess before. It's one of the three great goddesses of Canaanite pantheon.
Oh, yeah, that's Easter.
Correct.
She's the spring goddess.
Well, she's, all right, so El. So El is supposedly the god of God, but Baal,
well, El is not God.
No, he's not.
It's a little G. Little G.
But so some people's worshipped or called their god El, but he's not.
Yeah.
Baal supposedly is greater than El, but what's the older one? The father of Baal, Dagon, the half fish.
Dagon, yeah, that's
Dagon.
the fish god. Yeah.
Right.
That's why the popes wear that hat, the big
point
with the open mouth. It looks like a fish's mouth open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Dagon is like a mermaid, human upper body fish, and
they're gonna totally be in my video, by the way.
Is he?
No, the mermaids, the sirens and the fish, yeah.
All right, yeah. So he's basically, these pagan Baal worshippers believed that Dagon was the first god, the god of gods, whatever. But Asherah is associated with all of them. You ever heard of the Asherah pole?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe when I was researching. Because that's the same goddess as Astarte and Astra and Isis, and they're all the same. Different names.
These were goddesses of the wives of kings. What is Jezebel? Jezebel,
yeah. That's the woman spirit, the whorish spirit.
She was I think a real like wife.
Yeah, she was.
And Asherah was her god. And to appease Baal's wife and her god, they were creating Asherah poles. Anything wood, but also what we probably commonly know as
totems.
totems,
That's all. That's what I
Egyptian.
was thinking.
Right. So it could be a sacred tree. Like if you plant a tree on top of a mound or something, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So your obelisks, they're all Asherah poles. And including if you ever go hiking or you've seen somebody stack up rocks,
Yeah.
kick it over.
Yeah.
It's a Asherah pole. It's where it originally came from. People, I get their landmarking, but it's
Bunch of hippies that don't know better.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Sometimes
stack some
something
rocks, man.
yeah, look how artistic I am. So, and that is also there's a tie to the Christmas tree.
Yeah, dude. Heavy worship on the trees, man. That was another thing.
Yeah,
Is that a real tree?
it is. But which one? Should I go back?
No, you can do whatever you were doing.
All right. So, just to briefly talk about that, I was planning on to discuss the Dan, the pioneer of Israel. Google Earth is popping up for me here. Clear out some of these, but I'm just going to read a few things real quick. This chapter in the Dan, the pioneer of Israel, chapter 3, talks about Dan in the Black Sea. It talks about how the Thessalians and the so-called Phoenicians and the Herculite, the Argives, they're all Danai. The Colchians, which Belshazzar was in that Battle of Colchin. Herodotus writes about the Dans in the Black Sea, and he's tracking them. It was as nearly as chronologicalists can determine about BC 1280, when Jason's expeditions composed of the flower of Thessaly sailed in Argo from port of Ichlos. To compare dates, this expedition took place 160 years later than Joshua's conquest of Canaan. It was about 150 years later than Dana's first colony in Argos. It was about 5 years later than Deborah and Barak that taunted Dan and kept them aboard their ships going up the rivers to the Black Sea.
That's the only time my name's in the Bible. What you're reading right there, Jason. That's Jason and the Argonauts.
And the expedition of Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Theseus was a mythical son of Hercules, now Thessaly. Strabo tells us was colonized by the Phoenicians. He also tells us it was the Argive. Hence, we come around again to the Danai. There is an additional tallying proof of there being genuine Danai for many years afterwards. A shipload of descendants of the Argonauts found their way back to Greece and claimed relationship with the Lacedaemonians, whom they call their fathers. And so basically what that is saying is Dan started and then basically made a full circle back around.
So what are we looking at on this Google Earth anyways, by the way?
I was following up the river. So this town came up. I was looking for going up the Danu River. The Danu River runs from the Black Sea up through the Black Forest.
Okay.
Basically following the trail because was it Euphrates? Euphrates almost runs completely from the Black Sea. So I was basically tracing them Um, this is a town. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but we've talked before about how in the Hebrew language there was no vowel, so D and N for Dan. Anything DIN, DON, DAN, DN, like even London, right? These are all places Dan has been either started or mixed in with them.
Yeah, now they pretty much taken over the world.
Pretty much, right? So, and every time I go and find these places, um, I try to find a church or something because they're building. And I guess basically where the story of the lost tribes just disappeared, and then all of a sudden there's like a time gap, and then tons of Germanic tribes appeared in all these regions, which to me doesn't seem like there was really a big gap in time or a disappearance of some tribes. Meaning one and the same, really. And there's this well in this town that just caught my eye. It's right across the street from a church. But anyways, let's go back. Let's explore while we're doing it. Okay, so here at Dono Hachiching.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that one.
It's a German town in the Black Forest. It's southwestern federal states. So the whole area where a lot of these, where the Donau runs through, is Baden-Württemberg in the Schwarzwald Bar. It stands near the confluence of two sources of the river Danube, or the Donau. It's still called the Danube. So here we are. As you can see, the Black Sea, the Danube runs through. A lot of Europe, all the way through the Black Forest. And in the Black Forest and towns in Germany, in those areas like Hassenberg, the Hassenberg family, Rothschild's family, Netherlands, what we would know as the medieval time period, or the Roman Catholic.
That's where my bloodline's from.
The Roman Catholic Empire?
No, the Netherlands. Like
the Netherlands?
Yeah. I didn't know that, but against everybody's will, probably, my brother sent his DNA into one of those stupid companies that the government runs in the CIA PSYOPs. And I was like, well, since you went ahead and did it, why don't you just at least show me the results? I was like, but that was stupid, by the way.
Yeah, because they're basically tracing, and they have been tracing since.
Yeah, they're tracking down bloodlines, dude.
They absolutely are, and I believe some of it's the Dananite bloodline.
Yeah, they're trying to find specific bloodlines, royal bloodlines, and they kidnap people based on this information. Yeah, those sites, man. People be sending the. Let me just give a quick commercial here.
All right.
Don't send your DNA to these sites if you don't already know better. It's absolutely insane to give your DNA up for free. Okay, it's a PSYOP. Like, Nobody wants to give their DNA away for free. You want to know where you're from? Wherever you were born. That's where you're from.
That's basically it.
That's my
And,
infomercial.
Let me see. I'm gonna look real quick. Somebody showed me an article. Blackstone.
Wait,
So here's
isn't that the name of that company?
Blackstone.
Oh, it's Black
The
Rock.
company?
It's Black Rock.
It was same one and the same.
Yeah. All right.
Blackstone was first, but BlackRock came from it. BlackRock's bigger than it, but now Blackstone. All right, this was in the Business Deals article. It says the headline here is Blackstone reaches a $4.7 billion deal to buy Ancestry.com.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Firm will take about 75% ownership stake in the Utah-based company. Alternative asset manager has 156 billion cash pile. So now it's like a multi-billion-dollar BlackRock property buying.
Think of what would billionaires want with everybody's DNA? People don't even think this stuff through. Like,
No, they don't. And
I'm gonna just give them my DNA. Do you know how hard people fight to not give up their DNA?
Exactly.
And people are just giving it. That's like Facebook, man. It's like, oh, I'm gonna tell the CIA everything about me. What I'm having for lunch. When the last time I farted was. I'm gonna punch it in, check it in here. Like, oh my goodness, man.
What have you seen the new filters that women are losing their mind over because it's like a teenage
I saw
filter?
somebody made a video about that stuff. Yeah, women having like mental breakdowns because they're like seeing themselves young or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, what happened to me? I was such a bad person to that girl. Like,
jeez, man.
God.
If people don't understand that the cell phone is from the devil, then, I mean, you can use it, but don't abuse it.
That's right. I mean, it's a tool, and it's a tool you can use to research, learn, find places. It's a resource. People, if people are just using it way too much, like it's them, they're being directed by it. If you turn on a filter and it changes your appearance and it makes you emotionally affected to you're hysterical,
yeah,
that's not a tool no more.
Right, that's a problem.
I mean, if I'm using a hammer and I'm building something and it falls and hits a rock, I don't fall to my knees crying. People are letting it ruin themselves.
It's like the internet. It's like everything, man.
Basically,
you can use it for what, if you use it wisely, it's good. But it can be corrupted. That's the thing. And then Satan knows that humanity has no self-control, especially the people that aren't saved, so they're all going to lose it. All of them. They're all going to put their life online. They're all going to have these breakdowns. We're just getting started.
Pretty much. And what it is really is, what is it? Psalms 106. Where it talks about the chapter about being grateful, gratitude. And I heard a saying the other day, gratitude determines your altitude. And that's another deceit of Satan. If you're sitting around griping and mumbling about, I don't look like I should, or don't have as much as that guy does, or I lost my internet service, everything sucks. You just been deceived by Satan to no longer believe in God, to be grateful to. I mean, if you wake up and it's a beautiful day, everything's great, You wake up. Thank God that you woke up. He gave you that's why they call it the present. It's a present, another day. Whether it's raining and it's full of storms and bad weather, you're alive.
Yeah.
Daylight came, you know.
People take that stuff for granted, man. Granite. I said granite.
Granite. Yeah. So in this, I got this picture up of this church. It's in a town called Luffenburg, Germany. The Rhine River, which I traced, a few places up the Rhine River. I believe the Rhine River was named from them as well. But this church stuck out to me. We've talked about those ceilings. You made a video of the cross ceilings.
Yeah.
Or the ceilings. See if it comes up. You got this red box. You take a spiral staircase and it overlooks the crowd. It isn't up front.
Dude, that just looks sinister.
Doesn't it? So
is that a pipe organ?
It is.
I do like me some pipe organs, though.
I agree. I like it too.
Look at the decoration on that place, man.
Right. So this, I can't zoom it in, but this picture up here is upside down from this view. But when you zoom it in, it is John the Baptist being beheaded, and what's her name? What's her name is holding up the silver platter for.
Oh my goodness, man! Why would you want that in your? Why would you want that?
Just beautiful ceiling, all this extravagant decoration in your little town.
If people don't know that Catholics are satanic, then
they truly are.
I don't know what to tell them. Like, it's so obvious, man. Same with Jews. It's so obvious.
It's insane. Yeah, why would you be so, like this is obviously them being proud of beheading John the Baptist.
Yeah. You know what drives me nuts, man, is people calling Catholicism Christianity.
Yeah, it's not.
It drives me nuts. It's like, dude, that couldn't be further from Christianity. It's like the polar opposite. Like, you got one over here, completely different. Nothing to do with each other. You got one that actually believes in Christ, and then one that pretends to believe in Christ, but actually worships Lucifer.
Christ, right? Absolutely.
It's bananas, man. That kind of looks like a spider web.
It does.
That gate's kind of cool looking. I'll give them that.
Here in this is the sun, the IHS sun, right here.
Yeah. Isis, Horus, and Set. That's what IHS says. And then it's in the circle, which is Osiris. That's right. That whole. Yeah. But it means in his service. That's what they say. The Catholics, they go, it means in his service. Oh my goodness, they are blind. It's so sad.
Well, and there's the lion too. Yeah, you got the pillar.
That's a serpent.
It is. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's totally Christian. There's a lion on that pole too, right there.
The lion on the pole, but if you look, I mean, it's not wood, but there's your Ashara pole.
Could have been wood. One day.
Could have been. Yeah.
Before the flood. Pre-flood, all that wood turned to rock. Petrified.
Petrified? Absolutely.
Wow, that is bananas, man.
This is the same ceiling of that same church. This one has an eye.
Of course it does, dude.
This is all the 15th, 14th century or whatever, medieval times. It's all Danonite.
Wow.
It goes on. very detailed. See, there's the fallen angel, and then this one is the beheading.
That's crazy. Man, oh man.
And that's where the church is right here.
You can tell that Satan's the god of money because look at all the money they invest into that satanic worship.
That's it. Look how tiny this town is.
Yeah,
and then that church?
Yeah. The church costs more than the town.
Completely. What was it for? I mean, I think they may have built over something already. It's part of their fashion. Take over and build on top of, and then spend that lots of money to make it theirs. Right. And then right up the river. Let's go up the river because no matter where there's something beautiful or huge like that,
there's always something up the river.
Oh, here we go.
Schweizer riches. Schweizer riches.
Oh, here's a D.
Dodgern. DeJean. DiGiorno. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Pardon me.
Remember in Wayne's World?
Pardon me. You have any Grey Poupon? But yeah, so I mean, the point of that is everywhere you go where there is something, a river where they've traveled, or a major town they've taken over, there's a town on the outside or a city on the outside or a county that has Dan. Well, I think that would probably be, it looks like a nuclear plant here. I didn't notice that before.
Dude, have I ever told you what I think about nuclear plants? Have I? I don't think I've ever told anybody, really, to be honest with you. People think you're crazy all the time, so... sometimes I don't... So, here's my theory. So, we all know that they pull power out of the air, right? I could show you all kinds of old ancient architecture that's still pulling power out of the air, and you can see the electricity around these things, the antennas. You can see it at night. It's like lights up. It has all these little power things, like blades of fire coming out the sides. Crazy stuff, like plasma. Anyways, so if there's power in the air, why do we need nuclear plants? I think they're just a cover so they can make weapons, dude. I think they're pulling power out of the air with all these little substations they call... I guess they call them substations. But
right.
I think they're all power plants, and they're pulling power right out of the air and telling us, oh, no, it comes from this place and comes through the wires, and we got to charge you ridiculous amounts of money for it and all kinds of good stuff. When they're getting it all for free, getting it right out of the air, it's just a big psyop, man.
You're absolutely right. It's like the whole nuclear fusion, how I don't believe a nuclear bomb the size of a car can be just dropped and explode. It doesn't work that way. That's also a psyop where we believe it. Same thing with electricity. I'm sorry, but electricity doesn't work fundamentally or elementarily the way we believe it does. Like there's a power station or that substation that you just mentioned. That's a source of power. And then there's a constant cable from that substation to your house, right? So that wire is carrying electricity, and as soon as you turn your light bulb on, it opens the door for that electricity to make your light bulb work. It doesn't really work that way. That is why we need grounded, right?
That's why they killed Tesla, man.
Exactly. They need a ground wire on these things. So the cable you see running everywhere has a ground wire running along it everywhere. Right? That ground wire is just taking the energy, not electricity, taking the energy that's naturally in the atmosphere and carrying it along the wire.
Yeah.
So when you turn your light switch on, it disrupts the natural electrical energy around your light bulb and creates friction in a way, and it turns the light on. The light reacts to the atmospheric energy around it. Right?
Yeah, you can run LEDs off of a magnet, a neodymium magnet.
Right.
You don't even need any power.
Nope.
Because it will pull the ions right in.
Right. Right. And the light bulb is basically, you're watching the light energy is a reaction, like a heat, like friction heat, you know? It's like there's a process called induction heat treating where you send the electromagnetic field, you have it travel along a coil that's really close to the proximity of metal, magnetized metal, and instead of like heating or creating electricity, it creates a disturbance in the electrical field in the atmosphere around the metal, and it creates such a violent disturbance that the particles in the metal that have, like a magnet, have positive and negative sides. So they start trying to attract and attract. You know, like if you take two magnets.
Yeah, the repulsion. Yeah.
Right. So the particles in the metal start doing that. They try to flip each other around, in which they do so violently that the metal heats up, and then you splash it with a quench and it's hardened. Your light bulb and electricity works the same way. That wire is not carrying or transmitting any electricity. It's creating a disturbance in the electrical magnetic field in the atmosphere. The ground wire is helping it direct it right to your house where it needs to be.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I totally agree. It's all psyop, man. I've been watching these little substations go up, and I'm like, okay, where's this power coming from? Because they're not connected to any giant power station. They're running power to the town.
When you look at them,
and I think I figured out the parts that are pulling it in, dude. I'm going to go take pictures of these things, dude, but I think I figured out which ones it is that collect the energy from the atmosphere.
Is it near a body of water as well?
No, there's one of them's in a sand pit, you know, where Wheelock Park is.
Oh, yeah, okay, yep, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's funny how parts in the Hampshire like that are sandy.
Yeah, it's like that one's in a sand pit. There's one over in, all the ones I know are in dry places. They're just pulling it right out of the air, man.
They really are.
Yeah, because that's the ether. They used to call it the ether.
And we naturally exist and interact with it because we have our own. We limit.
Well, we're electrical too.
Exactly. Like if they're doing an EKG reading on your heart is transmitting an electrical current so far.
Yeah.
That EKG reading is reading your transmission from your heart.
That's why they have those crypto mining beds. Right? Have you ever heard of those? People go and lay down and they're like, they sell their body energy.
Right. And that's the same thing with like the Fitbits or those rings we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
That's tracking your biometrics. That's mining as well.
Yeah.
You're creating the energy. Creating a database of energy.
Dude, you want me to I got this book of Enoch out. You want me to read just a couple verses?
Yeah, go ahead, actually. Let's do that. I wasn't sure if...
Well, you can keep sharing. I'm just going to read it. I just want to fill people in of why we talk about Dan so much, because Dan is like, I think it's more dark than people understand. So I have here the book of Enoch, and this is chapter 13, and I'm just going to read I'm going to read verses 6 and 7, but I'll give you a little preliminary to what's happening. So, because man has dominion over the earth, when the fallen angels came down to mate with women, they got in big trouble, obviously, with the Most High. So Enoch was put in charge of reprimanding and handing down their punishment because they came to earth. And since we have dominion, Enoch has dominion over these angels because they're on our turf. So they're pleading with Enoch to bring a message to the Most High for them to have mercy upon them. So this is what it says in 6 and 7. Then I wrote out their petition in the prayer in regard to their spirits and their deeds individually, and in regard to their request that they should have forgiveness and length of days. And then I, talking about Enoch, went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon, and I read this petition until I fell asleep. So Dan is right at the root of the fallen angels. They came down to Mount Hermon, and there's Dan. So these fallen angels, that's who Hercules is. He was a Nephilim, a son of a fallen angel and a woman. So they came right down into Dan. So this is where Dan becomes this, I don't know, beacon for darkness, I guess we can say. And because they have fallen angel technology, information, plus the Nephilim, like, it's a hotbed for evil. And control and power. So this is why Dan plays such a big role in what's going on and why we like to cover them, because they have a huge role in what's going on. Obama, who is the biblical Antichrist, whether you know it or not, you will soon enough. But fact, Obama is the biblical Antichrist, and he's from the tribe of Dan. So, very important tribe to study, to understand. So, I definitely appreciate Franz bringing all this information on Dan. It's very useful information, and I think it's a tribe that's not studied as much as it ought to be.
Yeah, and I think that's what you just said is the fact of why it's difficult to find the tribe of Dan or follow what they were doing, because like I said, false flags, psyops, this is nothing new under the sun. They've been doing it as right along. Right. The name means to deceit, to conquer or take over. And their symbol is the snake. They travel on serpentine rivers. They create serpentine rivers. They take something that's not theirs and make it theirs. Make those people theirs. They have, I believe, they have the Cain the murderer bloodline in them.
Oh yeah, they're definitely from the line of Cain. Yeah.
And I think they most welcome the fallen angels. And they rejected God right off the bat. They rejected the good part of their bloodline that they did get from Jacob, but along with biblical stories that did happen, like him getting his name Israel, and then Israelites, just so much falsities to blur the lines. But basically everything that I'm trying to talk about or bring up to light when I talk about the tribe of Dan is the snake. Their real symbol, their real intentions, and everything that they've done and still do reflects in our modern society with adultery, changing women into men, men into women, blurring those lines, all of it.
Yeah, in the Book of Enoch, it has it lists off all the things the angels taught men to do. Like,
And
it's pretty
everything
crazy.
that's corrupted, that's built, makes America Mysteries Babylon.
Oh yeah, we're definitely Mystery Babylon. That's a fact. That is a fact for sure. We're also Egypt. Man, I've been coming. I got so many videos I gotta make, dude.
So the scales of justice comes from the symbol of Dan.
Liberté.
All right.
Yeah.
And their colors
Libra.
here with the fringe on their flag, Tribe of Dan, blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow? That's
blue
like
and
Ukraine
yellow,
too.
Well, see, now that brings me. Ukraine is the colors, right? What are they telling people to do? Feel bad for Ukraine? Sympathize?
Dude, there's
Send them money?
stupid flags all over the place. People like don't have American flags, but they'll put these flags up. Of course, with the transvestite flag too.
So now, in the last year of that, people are putting those flags up, and they're worshiping, they're idolizing, they're making a deity out of this yellow and blue, right? To accept. So they're going to be so blinded with sympathy and give and accept this and take this and oh yeah, but they're getting you ready by colors, programming by color frequency to accept the mark of the beast, right?
Let me tell you something.
So what else is blue and yellow? What other flag is it?
Oh, flags? Pfft, I don't know, man. I'm no flag connoisseur, dude. I just know about Ukraine.
All right, well, hold on. Let me go back. Let me show you.
I feel like there's one with a lion on it, though.
There is, too. You're
a
right.
blue one with like a yellow lion? I feel like there's one like that.
Am I sharing again?
Yeah, go on. Do it. Oh, that. Oh, you got me.
Do you see what I'm saying now?
Gayatu.
You see it?
Yeah.
Well, what's blue and yellow?
Yeah.
That's blue and yellow.
And guess what? Guess what yellow and blue make?
Green.
Yep. Serpent.
Same difference. Same difference.
Unreal.
So now you're being programmed by colors. So if you see a blue and yellow flag,
that's what the color guard does, right? The color guard.
Uh-huh. Oh man,
So everybody's donating their money. I just want to touch base on this real quick.
That's it. Why?
I don't know if people have heard this, but so banks are failing in America. Everybody really needs to understand what's happening here. Banks are collapsing in America, okay? But Ukraine got voted the best world bank in Ukraine. All right, one of their top banks got the award for the best world bank.
Of course,
because we gave them all our money.
Billions.
Like a bunch of fools falling for PSYOP after PSYOP. Oh, save Ukraine, save Ukraine. You know that Zelensky and Putin are like hanging out, drinking beers and Russian vodka, like laughing at us?
I know.
Just FYI.
Yeah, they think we're enemies. Look at this. We do a good job. Huh?
Yeah.
And
Americans, they're so stupid. They believe everything on TV.
Yellow and blue. Huh? Doesn't feel bad for them, you know? We're crashing you.
Wait till we get there. They're going to die.
A story about how strong you are and you holding off to Russia.
We could kill you on vodka. Your boys think they're girls. We're going to murder you. You haven't got a chance. You know.
And it's we're laughing because that's how ridiculous the world stage is, and people buy it up. They want to eat that crap. The manja, manja, manja.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crap.
It's absolutely not. Yeah, what flag? That's the one I was talking about. What is that flag?
Let me put it back up. It was
No, you don't have
City
to.
in Netherlands. The one
The Netherlands?
that was, yeah, ironically.
Oh, of course it is. Oh man, I was just telling you that's where my bloodline goes back to. Of course it is.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because the other day wife and I were talking about how my family came from Germany. One of the first generations in my family to be born in America. Actually, half first. One, my mom was born in America, so second generation. Either way, so my wife was trying to look up my last name and then actually type in the country. She's like, I really can't find anything. And well, I'm from Germany. I mean, I grew up hearing stories. I heard my father speak in a broken English. You know, he could barely speak it. So it was like I never questioned it. You know.
Yeah.
So, and then she's like, "Well, no, because I looked it up. I typed it and made sure." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know?" I'm like, "Now it just popped in my head. I didn't even think it just came out." I'm like, maybe my grandfather, who I carry his first name, maybe he added or changed his last name when he married my grandmother or right before that and never told his children. So his children wouldn't know. See, they fled around at the end of the war.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of name changing going on then.
Right. So so I got curious. I'm like, you know, and I'm like, why did I think that? Why did it feel so natural for me to just spew that out without thinking about it? I'm like, that's very plausible. So then I was like, well, you can't just say, you know, what's the origins of a name? So I started looking up the etymology of my last name, and it could be some traces of it being Scottish, some of it being in Germanic regions, but tracing Dan and the Israelites, they went to Germany and Ireland and Scotland first. You know, you have the language that I was pointing out there. Not Olgra. Olgra is that crazy lady from them.
Oh, the Dark Crystal.
I can't think of it, but you know, it's basically a version of Paleo Hebrew, and it's found all over the world. They say it's an Irish language, but it made me think maybe I could be more Irish, Scottish, Jewish than I am German. I really don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like what you said when people do the DNA, the ancestry thing. You know, don't do it. You are from where you were born. They've been degrading and erasing since beginning. You know, you could do your DNA ancestry from 3 different places and get, you know, 3 different ancestry companies or services that do that testing and get 3 completely different regions of the world. They're tracing what they've done and where they are.
Yeah, and who's to say they're going to tell you the truth anyways? Send it to me. Pay me thousands of dollars. I'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Yeah, you're from Royal Kingship. Yeah. But you owe me $20 extra because you're royalty. So
you're 30 seconds of nobility from China.
Let me tell you, if you're born again of Christ, then you're of God, and that's where you're from.
That's it. That's you. You're the Holy Spirit in you is building your temple. You are that temple.
Yeah, okay? We're all from the same place. God. Yeah.
Right. So, spiritually speaking, the Tower of Babel is all the little pieces of the spirit of Satan, I guess. As much as there's Holy Spirit, there's spirit of Satan. All these antichrists have a little piece of them, and that's how he's building the Tower of Babel.
That was the first 5G tower.
Correct. Well, the more like the DNA strand building up, but that is what it is. Building the Tower of Babel spiritually is how many people within Mystery Babylon can we inhabit? Not we, them. In a way you can combat that is put down your devices, laptops, tablets. Stop believing them. Stop putting all your energy into them and wanting these filters or wanting to look like what the filters make you look like. Stop. Just stop. It's in the Bible when God tells you to be still. It means mentally, emotionally.
Also says in Corinthians, for we are not ignorant of Satan's devices.
And
these are Satan's devices.
These are Satan's devices. And convincing you that you're nothing without them or needing them is part of that. Leaving you open further away from your relationship with God to make you more susceptible to being inhabitable by the spirit of Satan, of spirit of Antichrist. And when there's enough of it going on earth, he'll come, the Antichrist. But either way,
I gotta tell you, I just realized that you live in the city. I was just looking out your window over there.
That's a cloud city.
Sweet, dude. You got a sweet place.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Technically, wouldn't that be the Nashar bowl?
The what?
The sacred tree.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got some trees going on. That's a big plant. Oh man.
All right. It's about all I have. Hopefully the weather doesn't take away the road or the power. I can actually focus. Was in survival mode for a week.
Oh yeah, you gotta tell them that you were out of power there.
So. We're out of power for a week. We had a snowstorm. Came on a Monday night and all day Tuesday, and we had about 3 feet. You drive a mile down the mountain, they had a foot.
Yeah.
We got pummeled at the top of the mountain.
So Franz was without power. I was checking in with him all week, but he was out without power for like the whole week.
It was, speaking of devices, it was a great learning experience for my daughter. Reading by oil lamp and candlelight and spending time with the families, those little important things that you got to be,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Something good comes from something bad. You take for granted how many times you can hit the snooze button and then press start on the coffee maker and run out the door. You have to get up and stoke the wood stove and heat up water.
Yeah.
By candlelight.
If you sleep too late, your fire goes out, your house is freezing. Yeah.
I packed half the refrigerator and the cooler in the snowbank to keep frozen for the days.
Yeah.
But either way. So hopefully we'll be able to get back on track and be a little more organized. I'm going to continue to bring up Dan. I strongly believe God put Dan on my heart for a reason to call him out and call out all the controllers of the world, and that's their original bloodline. But until then, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime. All the forces may try, but I'll come here. I may be disorganized and a little whatever, but I'll be here.
Yeah, well, you definitely had forces working against you this week, so.
No, James said hi again. I see. I just having a glimpse over it.
Oh yeah,
James here. Hi, James.
James and Leb Newman. Hey guys, good to
Thanks for
see
joining
you.
us.
Yep, definitely good to have you guys. I always appreciate people coming on and listening to what we have to say. Just a couple guys who love the Lord and want to share and expose darkness to the light.
And sometimes we have shows where we just wing it and go like this. You know, we don't. We try to talk about ourselves and God and our relationships with God, let alone just trying to expose. You know, as captivating as exposure videos are, sometimes you really have to understand where we are or what we're talking about to kind of keep up, I guess. But long story short, we're grateful you're here. If you come, try to stay and listen and pick up a few things. If not, then, you know, we'll still be here.
Yeah, and you guys can even add stuff if you want. You know, if you got questions or comments or ideas or whatever. We're here for you guys. So, you know, we'd enjoy each other's company because we're very like-minded individuals. But in reality, we're on here to bring things to you guys so that we can all be better informed and understand the world that we live in better than we do. And that's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to have 1,000% of truth, but the point is, you have an aha moment watching a exposure video and like, oh my God, those are great. You want that glow. You know, God gives you that glow when you have a spiritual moment or a connection with the Holy Spirit or somebody else. But there's times when you have to be thankful for the storm too. But basically, it's just, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to do this. If Jay's going to listen, then great. You know, that's it. And you guys can jump in and speak your mind or add stuff or, you know, ask questions, you know, because regardless, we're here. We're here for the cause.
We love you too, man. And Leb Newman says it's an Aussie and found it very interesting about the rivers. So very cool.
Thank you. Well, hi from Australia.
Is that what Aussie is? Australia?
Yep.
All right, cool. I didn't want to assume anything, you know.
Yeah, he's Australian. His winters are a little off than ours. I had a couple friends that, off the subject, that would follow the winters around the world. I worked with them a few years at the mountain, skiing, snowboarding.
Definitely my favorite accent, probably, on the planet. Or on the earth.
It is. I like it too.
So before we get out of here, I just want to tell you guys, keep your eyes out for my next video. The 7 Satans is coming up. So keep your eyes out for that. It's going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too. So, till next week. Well, our next bi-weekly show. Everybody stay vigilant. God bless everybody and keep your heads up.
You too, buddy. We love you. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you regulars, especially. We like to hear from you guys, so thanks for commenting. Keep on coming back. This is a bi-weekly show, and I'm starting to have a little more time on my hands. I've been on a busy schedule, but I will be pumping out a little bit more videos than I have of it late, more like the old days. So keep your eyes out for 7 Satans. It's coming up. Until then, God bless and take care all.